make is that in looking at all these cuts, which are traumatic, which are terrible, and I support, the music program, and I support the teacher program, lots of things. The one that sticks out in my mind is sort of penny wise and pound foolish is the reading recovery. If the kids in Gillette don't have reading recovery now, they're going to pay for basic skills later. So, it's sort of shortchanging. They won't get that skills now. So we'll need a half basic skills teacher next year in Millington or the year after. So that seems kind of foolish. The second thing I want to talk about is logistics. In 2 weeks, you're presenting this budget to the public. Will you have the levy, the stuff back from the state? Will you have parcel this list of 12 things down to specifics? How will you get from today, this point now, to 2 points from now to get to that, 2 weeks from now to get to that point, to be able to tell everybody exactly what's going to be in this budget in 2 weeks?
Two things. One, we hope we hear from the state on the waivers. I wish I could, look into my crystal ball and give you an answer. But we will hopefully hear on the waivers, and then we will have those figures. We have no choice, and it'll have to be on a line item basis. And I want to go back. We didn't get a chance to do this earlier. To ask Dr. Weatherall and Ms. Munson to discuss some further information about reading recovery and some of the research that you've done in that, and I'll start over here.
Okay, we looked over the reading scores. Students that were administered the test in first grade and compared to what the results were in the test in third grade. Students from school years 04, 05, and 05, and 03, 04, and 04, 05 from first to second grade. At the students that were in reading recovery, their reading level improved 1.4 grade levels. So if they were at 1.2 in first grade before reading recovery, they would have been at an average of 3.6 the next year. No, 2.6 the next year, sorry. We looked at students who had reading recoveries in years 01, 02, 02, 03, and 03, 04. We looked at their improvement of reading levels from first grade and then in third grade. Over the 2-year period, there was an average of 2.5 years improvement. I would also hate to see reading recovery cut. I would hate to see anything cut. We were asked to give a list of what possibilities were and try to justify where cuts could be made. When we looked at the research, there wasn't huge improvement in scores as we would have expected from a one-on-one program. Of course, we don't have the data of what the improvement would have been if they didn't have reading. So we understand that, and we're not sitting here saying that this is not a program that works, but we're looking at the scores, trying to figure out how much it did work.
I've gotten questions, and I'll let you jump in also in a minute to demystify some of this, because some of the questions that I've gotten. First of all, reading recovery is 14 kids times 2, so 28 kids in a year.
Right.
And the other portion is that, let's talk
Last
about...
year was 14 kids for the entire year.
Okay, so the entire
There
year
was
was
7
14.
and 7. And because reading recovery was cut, a .2 basic skills teacher was put in to hopefully try to meet some of the needs of the students who wouldn't have reading recovery.
Okay, and reading recovery, you do not, I just want to make sure I have this right, you do not have to be classified special ed in order to be in basic skills. So that's a fallacy that because somebody had said to me that if you were in reading recovery, you were regular ed student. If you were in basic skills, you were special ed student. My understanding
the reading recovery
is not the case.
That's not the case. The reading recovery program and our basic skills program at Gillette School services children within the general education population, and yes, they are intertwined. Again, we don't want to cut the reading recovery program. It's a phenomenal program. We were asked. We really have no choice but to put everything out there. The potential cuts on the reading recovery program, as Dr. Weatherall stated, services approximately 14 students a year versus the basic skills program, which can service anywhere from 25 students, depending on individual needs. The program, the basic skills program, is structured in a way that students receive support individually, small group, and in class. again, serving the general education population. We don't want to cut any of our programs.
So the concept is that you would not have reading recovery, but there would be increased basic skills.
Yes.
So it's not like it just simply goes away, it's being handled in a different manner.
Yes, to service more children.
Anything else that either of you could add to help clarify?
Well, I think anytime we came down with a cut, it was, is a program gonna be cut, or are we gonna have 27 kids in a homeroom? And that's what we have to keep coming back to. If this program is not cut, well, then are we gonna cut a first grade teacher and spread those kids out to that class? And that's something else that we didn't want to do.